Alright, Hill Slam here. Seeing a fair amount of conversation about the wall of buttons on the C8, and I'd like to make the point that I think the wall of buttons here, all these controls, are actually perfect, and I want to explain why. So the first thing is, they're all within reach. So I'm 6 foot, 34-inch sleeve, and if I'm sitting driving, my elbow tends to be right down here, hand here, and that means that I can reach the top two quadrants of the buttons without even moving my elbow and actually keeping my hand on the wheel. That's pretty brilliant. I mean, even the touchscreen is a reach forward, but with these, they're right here. Second thing, let's talk about the button line itself. It's divided into 4 quadrants roughly. Top quadrant is your controls. The middle is the common controls. You got sync and auto, but we'll talk about that later. General controls, on, off, AC, and then recirc, and then your passenger. All your controls being at the top means you don't even have to move. Second thing about it is, all these buttons are haptic and have a feeling to them that can tell you, what their purpose is for. So, I can operate any of these buttons without even taking my eye off the road. Why? Because I've memorized them. How do I memorize them? It's pretty easy. At the top is my controls for heat. Down from that, immediately, down from that, I'm not even looking, is a heater for the seat. Down from that one is the fan for the seat. Sync and auto, I really don't ever use. When you do use those, if you're setting it to auto, you're not going to be touching anything over here anyway, so why do you even care about that? And sync is a very once in a while thing when you've got a passenger that got out that's cold-blooded and has set their heater up to skyrocket, and you want to set that back to normal human settings. In the middle of the whole wall is the fan control. So if anytime I can lay my hand and actually touch both of these. But if I'm driving, I can come over here. I know the fan's always in the middle, and I can adjust it up or down. That's usually what I do. But then if I want to change where it's blowing on me, up from the fan, first one up is feet. Second one up is right in your face. And then third is the windscreen. And these 3 buttons, actually, if you look up close, they have an indent. So this little lowering kind of platform that gets more pronounced with each button tells you by touch which button you're on. And once you know what those are, it's super easy. You come over and I can just go boom to the center one or boom to the top one. Pretty easy. Same thing for down here in the passenger controls. Also, if I want to get to the general stuff, right, max, recirc, and AC, right, you can just come over to the fan again, down 1 for turning the whole system off, down 2 for max, and then recirc. Down 2 for AC and then recirc. And again, these also are indented. I'll get a real good close up there, as you can see. As they come down, they indent. See that right there? So you know as you're bringing your finger down what control you're on. And then max is the first pop out of that. And then you're down into your passenger controls, which you shouldn't be messing with anyway. So the wall of buttons is actually quite brilliant. I think it gets an undue amount of criticism. I think it's fantastic. It's a better layout than I had in my C7. Better than I had in my Camaro and any number of cars before that. I think it's a real innovation. I think it's really well laid out, and I think the folks that criticize it the most don't live with one of these cars. And if you do spend any time in them and spend just a little bit of time of understanding the layout here and understanding how they did the haptic feedback, with the contours here and the layout, this is a fantastic system. You will never take your eye off the road to come over here and work some of your controls. And you don't even have to look over and see these when you're working them, because everything gets mirrored here. So if I up the fan right down here, it's going to get mirrored when the car is running on the screen here. So I've heard people mention that these buttons sometimes can be hard to see when the top is off and you're in direct sunlight. I get that. That's the same as any car that has these kind of LED lights. But that doesn't even matter, because if you're doing things on these controls, what you're doing will be reflected up here on the infotainment. And you can see this thing all the time. So that's my argument for why the Great Wall of Buttons here in the C8 is in fact perfect. And that's why I think so. And I think you should think so too. And that's it. Hellslam out.